Is mid-November. We are in the middle of so much stuff between all the big awards movies. Before we began here, we were just talking about how like everything is 3.5 hours long. It's very long. It's
Because it's all,
important.
everything's so important. They're so
Everything's very important.
important.
Yeah. So like The Brutalist, which we're seeing at some point in time, you and I
Yeah.
separately, is like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, with an
And
intermission.
yes, and Wicked, which we're seeing on Sunday, is
Yep.
2.5 hours long,
And it's
240.
part one.
And it's part one. There
Don't tell
is
anyone. The marketing
so
certainly isn't
much.
telling you that.
Don't you think people know this by now? I think people know this, right?
I don't know. The Wrap ran a big article today talking about how it's the latest movie to sort of occlude the part one of it all. So I bet a lot of
Yeah.
people do not know that this is going to be like, the first half of a saga.
Interesting. Anyway, good to see you all. Thanks for sharing some of your time with us during these busy, busy days. I see that Leo says can't be here today, so just wanted to drop in and say hi real quick. Hi, Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Have a great stream. Excited to check it out later. I hope that we live up to your expectations. So we have already recorded a couple of reviews today, and we don't agree on either of the movies that we are talking about today. That is Red One and Hot Frosty. So they're both
Yes.
Christmas movies, but we don't agree on how we feel about them. So
You'll have to watch to find out which ones and how we feel about what.
who do you trust? Let us know, please, real fast before we get too deep into this. How do we look? How do we sound? Any tweaks we need to make? Let us know. We appreciate that. Hello, Bill. Hello, David. David says, I've been rewatching a lot of your old What the Flick reviews just for fun.
Wow.
As someone who loves movies, I wish I had known that channel when it was on. Yeah, we were there for like 8.5 years, and people all the time are still like, wow, I wondered where you went.
It's
We're
true.
here.
Yeah, I know. Like we've been here for a while, but welcome if you just found us.
Yes. Jonathan says, happy early holidays. I will watch Hot Frosty soon, I guess. Watched Emilia Perez, admire its bold swings, and the Saldana is great, but it's all over the map for me. Yes, we reviewed that last week.
Mhm.
And so we're seeing Wicked on Sunday. We're going to record a review of Wicked for you on Monday, so that will be ready to go right at noon. Tuesday, noon Pacific time on Tuesday,
Yes.
when that embargo lifts. So we're going to get it out for you as fast as we possibly can. So
I mean, I guess there's no point in doing a live out of the theater if they're really going to be tough about the embargo. But I mean,
social embargo. I don't think anyone has talked about that, and that's always sort of that's the
a
loophole.
little bit. Yeah, I've seen a few people like share some opinions, but I'm sure they were encouraged to do so because they were rapturous opinions.
Yeah.
We haven't
I
seen
think
it yet. We don't know.
Yeah, I think people have posted it like on social media, like on Twitter, for example, a place that you and I don't exist on anymore. So
Nope.
you guys should know, if you have followed us on Twitter, we both deactivated our accounts this week because as of today, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, has changed its terms of service. And they
Mhm.
are now telling you we can mine your content forever to train AI.
Yeah. So, if you were looking for an excuse to deactivate your account, this might be it. I was trying to keep my personal one open for a long time because I had racked up a pretty, not bad following. I'm not a Kardashian or anything, but like,
Mhm.
and so I just worried that some bot was going to swoop in and take the name once I gave it up. But now I'm like, go with God, people. I'm not playing in that pond anymore. So you can follow us both at Blue Sky, where we've been for a while, and the account for this program, befastalldday.bsky.social. I'm at A Duraldi, and you are Chrissy Lemire.
I
Chrissy
guess
Lem.
I have not actually dipped a toe into Blue Sky. I started an account. I don't go
Yes.
there.
Well,
But you can always find us here at YouTube. You can find us at Instagram at BeFastAllDay. You can find Alonzo on Instagram at Alonzo.Duraldi. Yes.
yes.
You can find me at my newsletter. You can go to ChristyLemire.com. My newsletter is called Saturday Matinee. You can find, if you Google my name, you will find 1,000 places to find me.
Yeah.
I am not hiding under a rock.
No, the show has a Facebook page. You can find us there.
Yeah. So I have a professional Facebook page. The show is a Facebook page. So we are in a lot of places. If you've not already subscribed to us there or followed my newsletter or whatever, we are all there. So I just think fuck that guy. And
Yeah.
I have not been on Twitter all year long anyway because of Elon Musk. And I kept it saved just to have it. But now I'm like, nope.
Hasta la
Yeah.
vista, baby.
Yes. Dorothy says, I am not on Twitter. Good for you, Dorothy. Look at those hours and hours of your life that you have enjoyed that we lost, that are gone for good. Jacob says, Pura vida from Costa Rica, guys. Chat and reviewers alike. Hello, good to see
Hey.
you.
Hola.
Hi. Tracy Henton says, you guys look fab. It's my Saturday morning. Tracy, where are you that it's already tomorrow? Please let us know. We have lots of news to share with you,
Yes.
including the breaking news that came out today, which is that Conan O'Brien is going to host the Oscars next year. Has he hosted the Oscars before?
He has not. He has
Okay.
hosted the Emmys and I think the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but this is his first time doing this one. But I think, they've got a pretty good track record of people who are funny on television and don't really have a connection to the world of film. I think that allows for a certain amount of looseness that, like, they don't have to worry about, offending a mogul who might hire them one day or whatever. So I think Kimmel was a pretty good host at the times that he did it, and Ellen back in the day. So yeah, I could see Conan nailing this.
I think this is a really good fit too, because he is established and respected and he knows how to do that kind of job. It seems like a really, really hard job, right?
For
The
sure.
idea that like anybody can get up there and do that. No, you can't, because it's live television being broadcast to a billion people all over the world. He can think on his feet when he needs to. He's quick-witted. I think he's a great choice. He's of the industry, but also I think is not afraid to make fun of things.
Yeah, and he would be wise to hire Louis Vertel for his writing staff.
Yeah.
Who we always got as part of the package when Kimmel was hosting, because Louis is very funny and his Oscar knowledge is like, I know no one with that level of deep, sort of trivia retention.
Yeah, he's hilarious. We love him. So, Tracy says she's in New Zealand. Hello to you in New Zealand. And Jimmy Ma says it's 4 a.m. in Taipei. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. And Angel says that John Mulaney would have been perfect. Yes.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Someday. And he would be great at that. Okay, so Hot Frosty is out on Netflix. Who has seen Hot Frosty? Hot Frosty is one of the movies we reviewed today. We'll have that for you later on here on the channel. We do not agree on Hot Frosty. I don't want to give away who likes it and who doesn't, but what did you guys think? Have you seen it? The premise is that Lacey Chabert puts a scarf around this, like, he's not even a snowman. He's like a chiseled Greek god. Like
who happens to be made of snow.
He's made of snow. And he comes alive when she puts the scarf around his neck and is hunky and charms everyone in the charming little town of Hope Springs. So have you seen it? Will you watch it? Let us know.
Do you remember that movie Hope Springs with Meryl Streep and Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes.
I really like that movie.
I don't know how I feel about it. I don't remember.
It's like it's almost entirely conversational. Like the bulk of that movie is them in therapy sessions with Steve Carell, and I was riveted.
Yes, that is. Yeah, it's a great cast for sure. So let us know if you have seen that. The trailer is out for the new Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, or is it Tom Cruise can just keep running and maybe they'll just make a movie around him as he does that? In this trailer, which I know, Alonzo, you have not seen, there's so much running, giving the people what they want in their final Mission Impossible episode here. So
now, is it the final one, or are they calling it final just in case they decide to make it the final one? Like, what's going on? Do we know?
There's a line that Tom Cruise says where he says, "I need you to trust me one last time."
Okay. All right, then maybe it is. Like, I hope they go out with a bang. That's been a fun franchise.
Yeah, this looks really fun, and the trailer is a lot of like previously on Mission Impossible, so it kind of like it's kind of building up to like the one last mission and what his character stands for and who he has been, and anyway,
and he's going to do the thing that he did at the Olympics, the jump of the place and the thing, right?
There's a lot of hanging off of airplanes.
Okay. Why wouldn't there be?
John Lee says there's like 6 shots of Tom Cruise running. I think they definitely are feeding into the meme. Yes, they know what people want, and that
Yeah.
is open-handed Tom Cruise running. Anyway, it just looks fun. So that is May of next year that comes out.
Okay.
We also got a trailer for the 4th Bridget Jones movie.
Hmm.
This is Bridget Jones's Baby that comes out on Galentine's Day, February 13th.
I thought the last one was Bridget Jones's Baby.
Oh, what's this one called? Bridget Jones, something or other. Hold on. Wait, I looked this up because I watched it. Bridget Jones 4. What's it called? Hold on. Mad About the Boy.
There we
Because now
go.
she's had the baby and he's like a child.
Gotcha.
You are correct. This is the 4th one. So we have Hugh Grant, but we don't have Colin Firth.
Well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's the year to be Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't remember. Did we like the 3rd Bridget Jones? Emma Thompson wrote it, which is of course always a good start.
I remember being okay. Yeah, I have distinct memories of going to see it. I don't really remember the movie. I think she goes to like Glastonbury or something,
Yes, she does.
and
She's in Wellies.
that's where she gets pregnant. Like, yeah, sketchy notions of it, but yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Why not? Sure, Bridget Jones.
Yeah. So that is coming out. Oh, David LeMan, thank you so much for your kind
Oh,
contribution.
thank you.
David says, I saw Emilia Perez and I agree with your review. ODR wrote some transphobic stuff. I saw The Brutalist at a festival. It does not feel long at all.
Oh, good to
Alonso,
know.
did you think anything in Emilia Perez seemed potentially transphobic?
I felt it was more trans tone deaf, but
Mm.
again, I think like go read some trans critics on this. They have had and will continue to have plenty to say about this film, and it is now on Netflix if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes, it is. It's out there now. We reviewed it last week, I want to say, but
Yeah.
now it is indeed streaming. So keep an eye out for that. We have Andrea saying that Renee Zellweger deserves better than yet another Bridget Jones movie.
Renee Zellweger is, I'm sure, driving this bus at this point. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm sure she's thrilled to be back in there. Um, But yeah, I think it's no different than Tom Cruise making another Mission Impossible movie. It's like this. I know this. I can do this. People like it when I do this, so let's do it.
Yes. Give the people what they want. Speaking of more, apparently there's going to be a 3rd Black Panther movie because Denzel Washington says that Ryan Coogler is writing a part for him in it. And so that's how this
Okay.
news broke.
Sure. I mean, they have clearly, they were able to do a second one without Chadwick Boseman and sort of establish the universe in which this exists. So yeah, why not? I mean, I think there's a rich lore that has been created over the course of a couple of movies. I had some issues with the second one, mainly in terms of I didn't think Namor's kingdom looked very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be curious to see how that goes. And of course, you want Denzel Washington in your Wakanda movie. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So the thing with the second one is I feel like it ended in such a poignant way.
Yeah.
Right. They really stuck the landing on that and they really found just the right tone to mourn him and to let us mourn along with everybody involved here and create a sense of closure without being emotionally heavy-handed. There's like a delicacy in that moment
Mhm.
of Letitia Wright sitting on the beach and the song is playing. And it's a beautiful shot,
Yeah.
and I think that it's satisfying. But if Frank Coogler wants to do a 3rd Black Panther movie, I
Well,
would think he has a reason for it.
I think the thing about the character, both in the comics and as established in the film, is that he is part of a lineage. You have the ancestors and all that stuff, and so it is a mantle that is passed down, and so I think you can continue to tell stories in that sphere, even with different characters, because obviously we've lost a couple of the major ones along the way, both in real life and in the fictional world. But I'd say that lineage continues, and the nation of Wakanda is such a cool place that I think, or the kingdom or whatever it is. I could see where you could keep that story going with in different ways. Yeah, it is a nice button, but I don't think it would be a violation of that to keep going.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to go back there again. Just that they're so exquisitely well made and then so beautiful. So a question here I want to get to. I don't know if you know anything about this. Angel mentioned what's with the gay kiss that was cut from Gladiator II. I had not heard about this. Had you?
Oh, news to me. I have no idea.
Yeah, I
Tell
had
me
not
more.
seen. Yeah, I had not seen that. Denzel and another man. Oh, that would be surprising to me
Oh,
because
well, I mean, the character in the dialogue acknowledges a certain level of bisexuality, but
yeah.
I don't know. This is literally the first time hearing about it.
Denzel said he kissed a boy, but they cut it. Interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't think I knew that, but I can imagine that they would like this to play as widely internationally as possible.
I mean, tragically, yeah, that does become a thing. I mean, recently Mubi canceled an entire festival they were going to do in Turkey because they wouldn't let them screen Luca Guadagnino's Queer. So
Right.
there are definitely there are territories on the planet where that kind of thing becomes a sticking point. I mean, it's a bummer that they capitulated to that, but yeah, I don't really know the actual context or the specifics as to why they got cut. So I don't have an opinion because I'm just now hearing about it.
Yes. David, thank you again. I want to get to your question in a second, but while we're on Gladiator, I want to mention a thing that we have in our rundown here, and that is that Airbnb is offering the Gladiator II experience in Rome. This is similar to what they did with the Beetlejuice house, where you
They'll throw
could
you in a
go.
dungeon and train you to kill someone else in the arena.
Yes, no, that's actually that is
Really?
it.
Oh
Yes,
my
that is
god, I
it.
was kidding.
Yeah, no, you are correct. So, they feed you. You get a tour of the
Uh-huh.
Colosseum, and they
Okay.
feed you the kind of food that they would eat at the Colosseum back then. And then, like, they put you in armor and they train you to fight. Like
Oh
it's
my
a
god.
fun kind of cosplay thing. But apparently, so like 16 people will be chosen to do this. Apparently, the city of Rome is pissed that this is happening. They think it's a desecration of a really important historical site. They one city council
Kinda.
member said, yeah, one guy who's on their version of their city council was like, "This is not Disneyland. This is an
Yeah, I
important
mean,
place."
yeah, I also, like, when you say what they ate, the gladiators or, like, the Caesars? Like, what are we there are tiers of,
Yeah,
dining
that's
here. I
true.
would like to know what we're talking about.
Pomegranates and grapes.
Yeah, yeah, I could see where people might consider to be this and not the best of taste.
Yes. Oh, Jared Diamond's here, my favorite baseball writer. Hello, Jared Diamond.
Heyo.
Made it to a live show. Hello. So yeah, I think it's really interesting how Airbnb spent $1.5 million to do this branding deal with the agency that runs the Coliseum.
Mhm.
And they figure like this is a great tie-in for this film that's going to be huge. But I guess also in places like Rome, Airbnb has very much cut into the tourism industry there. So
Sure,
there's a
yeah,
great
no,
deal of
no.
animosity, like in a lot of cities where they're actually enacting legislation to prevent that kind of short-term rental.
Yeah, because I mean, not only are they fucking with hotels, I think for a lot of people who have apartments, like if you live in a building and there's a unit there that's Airbnb, you've got strangers coming in and out all the time. You've got people who are like, "Woo, we're gonna party," and so like, and it fucks with
Yeah.
rentals, it with rents, it fucks with a lot of different things, and so yeah, Airbnb definitely has not always been a positive in a lot of places. God, sorry, I spit my tongue. In a lot
You
of
okay?
places, it is yeah, they are really putting the hammer down on it, and rightfully so. I know people who live in a building where there are Airbnb units, and it's just a constant pain in the ass.
Right. Constant in and out of people with rollerboards walking
Yes,
down the street.
exactly. All kinds of shenanigans getting up, and yeah, a lot of look. People will rent a B and B in the same way that they will rent a car, in that they're
Mhm.
not going to treat it like the one they own.
Unless you're us,
Well, of
right? We are super
course.
conscientious. Like, so when we go to
Of
Montreal for a
course.
week, we do it through like VRBO or what I say.
Hashtag not all be it Airbnb users,
Right.
but I'm just saying I can see where the concern comes from.
Sure. David, I want to get to your question. Thank you very much for your kind donation. David says, so sad that Quincy Jones passed away. He
Mm.
was actually set to receive an honorary Oscar this Sunday.
Oh,
It's
no
sad that
way.
the
I didn't
Board of
know that.
Governors don't give these two veterans earlier before it's too late. Yeah, he had lived a long life, Quincy Jones.
Yeah. Did he not win a competitive Oscar ever?
No, I think this is what makes him an
Wow.
EGOT.
Okay.
Is this? So he was an EGOT for sure. And Courtney's here too. And Courtney says, "I'm never here live. I'm glad to catch you. We're glad that you are
Welcome.
here. Hello. Um, yes, the question is, Christy, have you convinced Alonzo to rewatch and review the first Gladiator? Yes, we are doing that early next week."
Fine.
Richard says they should do a Caligula Airbnb instead. And Kevin says do that at the USC Colosseum instead. And like the USC football program is in trouble, so I guess they could probably use the money. That's actually a really good idea. Teddy says there's a good documentary on Netflix about Quincy Jones.
Oh, cool.
Which I heard his daughter made, right? Didn't Rashida Jones make that movie?
Oh,
Or she
I
write a
don't
book?
know.
She wrote a book about him.
I think that, yeah. I mean, there was one that came out way back in like the 90s called like Q that I remember got some theatrical, but I'm sure there's multiple documentaries about him at this point.
And that was his memoir, right? Was that his memoir?
I think.
Yeah,
Not
maybe.
sure.
Anyway, so much else going on. Do you know, speaking of Wicked, do you know about this misprint on the doll packaging
Yes.
for the Elphaba and the Glinda? And it said the wrong website and it took you to an
Oh.
adult site, which has the word Wicked in it.
Yeah, well, Wicked Video is a long-standing studio at this point, and clearly no one at Mattel knew this. So yeah, oopsie. I think that sometimes it is, due diligence involves what else has this name that I need to maybe steer around. I just got an email this morning about a new documentary that focuses on education for dyslexic school children in New York, and it's called Left Behind. And I'm like,
Oh,
good luck with the Google on that one, y'all, because that
right.
title is very well established in a whole other context.
Yes.
So yeah, though the people doing Wicked need to know that there's this other Wicked that has been on the scene for some times, and maybe you don't want to send people to that site.
It would take literally 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, how did it not occur to anybody to double check that? And then to package a whole bunch of dolls.
No, I know they're now collectibles. I'm sure, like whatever the box with the naughty URL in it. It's going to be like finding a copy of the Little Mermaid on VHS with the penis tower.
Yikes! Yes, Jimmy. Left Behind is a series of movies, books, and movies about the apocalypse, starring Kirk Cameron, who will save us when the Judgment Day comes.
A very popular series of novels that were huge in the evangelical world about what happens between the rapture and the end of times.
Yes, whatever it is, it has terrible visual effects.
Yes, and then it was remade badly with Nicolas Cage, but it was basically a movie about a guy landing an airplane.
Yes, that was strange. Remember we saw that. We reviewed that. So there's also going to be a Sam Bankman-Fried movie in the works. Everything about this feels like a Mad Lib to me when I wrote this down in our show notes. Sam Bankman-Fried movie in the works with Lena Dunham writing the script for Apple/A24.
Who's Sam Bankman-Fried?
The crypto guy, the crypto criminal guy.
Oh, him. Yeah, you're right. That does sound like a Mad Lib. That's like that episode of South Park where they conjecture on how Family Guy is written, and it's the narwhals and the beach balls with pithy pop culture references on them.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, Lena Dunham writing this. I don't know why that is.
She likes jobs.
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they're like crypto. The young people know about that. Who do we know? Lena Dunham. She's got her finger on the pulse.
I was about to say to you, finger on the pulse of young people culture. Oh, that's very strange. Also, speaking of young people and the current culture, have you heard this cover of Lil Jon's Get Low that Mark Zuckerberg recorded with T-Pain?
I do not wish to hear this. Is Mark Zuckerberg auto-tuned by chance? Is that why T-Pain is involved?
Maybe a little. So that also sounds like a Mad Lib word salad.
Kind of, yeah. Again, like we're living in a new sort of gilded age of robber barons. So
Mhm.
like the idea of Zuckerberg deciding to do this is like, I don't know, JP Morgan's wife having an evening at Carnegie Hall, like it's just like, yeah, I can do this and fuck you. Who says I can't be a rapper? Like, well, everyone. But yeah, here we are.
Well, the story is actually slightly a little bit wholesome and almost romantic when you hear what the origin of this is.
Do tell.
Apparently, Get Low was playing at the bar where Mark Zuckerberg met his wife.
Hmm.
And they have great memories of that night. And they play this song every year on their anniversary. And so this is his gift to her, recording the song. But it's like a slowed down kind of like coffee house folk version of it, which makes the lyrics sound absurd. When you can really like linger in what they're singing about here, it's very strange. Yeah, Christian says it'll be in the Social Network too. Yeah.
Ooh, and if you're going for that coffee house singer songwriter vibe, of course T-Pain is the first person you call.
It's very strange. Anyway, if you
Yee.
want to hear that, it is out there. I am not going to link to it, but if you do a search in YouTube for Mark Zuckerberg T-Pain, it will show up very, very quickly.
I hope he got T-paid.
That too. I agree. A couple of people asking about the movie Y2K. I have not seen it yet. This is this Kyle Mooney
Yeah,
movie.
I think Jonah Hill's a producer. I saw the first trailer, which seemed like it was a funny idea, and apparently they released a second trailer this week, which I have not watched because I'm waiting for the moment where I have no choice but to see it. But the movie, I mean, it's a fun premise, and I like Kyle Mooney. I didn't love Brigsby Bear, but I thought there were
Yeah.
some fun ideas in it, and this is a recent but not so recent phenomenon that I'm sure for young people it's a thing they completely missed. So yeah, why not?
Right. Because probably there are some people in our chat here who may not even have been alive when Y2K happened.
Yee.
Where were you on Y2K, Alonzo?
I remember we went to a friend's house thinking that if we're in the worst case scenario, we could still walk home. So we went to a friend's house who lived not far from us, and I remember the last movie I watched in 1999 was Meteor, and the first movie I watched in 2000 was, you'll appreciate this, Xanadu.
Love it.
What'd you
What
do?
city were you in? Were you in Dallas
In
or were
LA?
you?
No, it
You were
was
in LA.
we just moved here in summer of '99.
Okay.
What about you?
I was in Dallas and I was
Mhm.
still working for the Associated Press.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot more people on hand because Dallas is like a hub for all of Texas coverage. They have little
Mm.
bureaus in like Houston and Lubbock and Corpus Christi, like a one person correspondence, but Dallas is the hub for like a whole giant region. And so the concern was we've got to have a lot of people working that night in case everything does indeed fall apart. And Chris also had to work that night because he was a producer at a TV station in Dallas. And so we were both working. And when the world kept turning at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st of 2000, we worked a couple more hours and we met up around 2 a.m., I want to say, and drank champagne with another producer that he worked with in their front yard and just survived it. So I had to work.
Wow. Well, I remember that day, like Singapore, I think got hit midnight first and was fine. It was like, oh, this is going to be okay, but just in case, like we were still a little on edge. Did we review that HBO doc that was like all basically news footage about Y2K?
I have seen it, but I don't think we talked about it here. I think we talked about it
Okay.
in some other capacity, but not here.
Yeah, that was really fun, and the entire movie, like, there's no narration, there's no new interviews. It's literally just all news footage of people preparing for Y2K and
Mhm.
fretting about Y2K, and yeah, and then like it happens, and then the world goes round. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this movie goes.
Yeah, there's I'm sure lots of nostalgia for like what the hair was like, what the clothes were
Of
like, and
course.
yes, Sucked said I was at my parents' friend's house. I was 12. We were scared. Um, Command Z was at a huge rave There's a little time
Ooh,
capsule for you.
that's
He
as
was
99 as you can get.
listening to Fat Boy Slim, hopefully, and some Moby. Yeah, that'll be fun. So Courtney says, I'm in my 30s, but young enough that Y2K wasn't on my mind as a kid. Don't know much about it. Wasn't super aware. Yeah, we had fear. We just didn't know. So we had to be
Yeah,
ready for whatever happens. And
totally.
Tracy makes a good point. How quaint our global conspiracies were back then.
Almost wholesome.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, we will definitely review that when that comes out. We are just really getting in the thick of things here.
Yeah.
With this weekend, I'm seeing Baby Girl on Saturday night, and then you and I are seeing
Oh, good.
Wicked on Sunday. And
Yes.
we're at that point where it's like movies every day, and every weekend we're heading, to some place where there's Q&As and cocktail parties, and the emails get full of invitations of things.
Yes, the publicists who ignore us the rest of the year suddenly can't get enough of us because we're voting members of an organization.
Please come to this luncheon. I've gotten lots of luncheon invitations.
Yeah, and generally speaking, like I don't want to go schmooze with filmmakers, and it almost feels like, do you think you're gonna get my vote because I'm gonna get 4 seconds of flesh pressing time with
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan? Like, no, I don't. I just want to see the movie.
She's very persuasive, Alonzo.
I'm sure she is.
Those blue eyes piercing through you.
I need to protect myself because yes, I could fall under her thrall.
Well, good. We'll keep you posted on all of the big holiday movies coming out. We are definitely in the thick of it. And we are so thankful to you guys for being here. Reviews later today of Red One and Hot Frosty.
Yep.
So thanks for being with us. And then next week we will have Wicked on Tuesday. We'll have the original Gladiator for you over at Patreon. Alonzo made me watch this holiday miniseries called Holidazed. And we have a poll going there. So if you're a member of our Patreon, make sure you vote because that poll ends tomorrow at 5 p.m. Are you going to make me watch the rest of this miniseries? Will Alonzo have to watch it by himself without my insight?
It's up to you guys. It's up to our Patreon subscribers. Also for Patreon, we're going to be recapping this new Dune Prophecy show that drops on Max starting Sunday. So we'll see how that goes because we just can't get enough Arrakis in our lives.
Yes, but this is like 10,000 years before the events of Dune.
Okay. So it's all about the
Bene Gesserit.
The Bene Gesserit, thank you. There's so many fun names with this.
It's the Bene Gesserit origin story.
And, we just saw Emily Watson as a nun in Small Things Like These. So, she's found a lane for herself, I guess.
Yes. I want to answer one quick question because it's a good one. Public Piper asks, where do you both prefer to sit in the theater? Left, right, middle, back, etc. We always sit together if we are at a screening together. And it's like, if you're facing the screen, we are back right.
Yes.
I don't know why we ended up there. How did we end up there?
I know that Dave with the hip stuff was like always big on the aisle, and so that was I just have gotten used to actually even before the hip stuff. I've just gotten used to being on the aisle side rather than in the center, which it turns out is better because if you do have to get up, you don't have to like step over a million people, and vice versa. I guess if you're the aisle, they're all stepping past you. But toward the back, on the right, on the aisle. Yeah.
I've always sat in the back. My mom would take me to the movies a lot when I was a kid, and she always liked sitting in the very, very back. She didn't want people breathing on her. And so she sat in the very, very back. And so the back is where I just always like to be. Our good friend Amy Nicholson and Katie Walsh, too, they like to be very close to the front.
Yeah, Ebert one time I think had a rule about like you should sit twice as far back as the screen is wide, but like I think sometimes some people like an immersive experience, some people like to be further back. This is a very personal choice among film goers. I remember the year that I did the South by Southwest jury, they were like, pick your seats now and we will make sure that you have this exact same seat for every single screening. And that was nice. That was nice. Yeah. You didn't have to think about it every time you went in.
One more question. John M. wants to know, when reviewing a film, popcorn or no popcorn? So if they offer us popcorn and a drink, sometimes they'll give you like a little ticket, like a little concession thing. And if I have not eaten dinner, or if my son is with me, I can't even tell you how many nights my kids' dinner has consisted of popcorn and soda because I'm a good mom. So I don't buy that stuff ordinarily, but if it's there, I'll take it.
I have popcorn a couple times a year, and it's only because my first job in high school was working at a multiplex, and there would be entire 8-hour shifts where I did nothing but make popcorn and put it into like big plastic garbage bags. And so you're standing there, and of course you're eating popcorn, and I just had so much of it in such a concentrated
Oh,
period that it's an occasional treat, but I don't want it all the time.
okay. Kristen has a question: Kubrick or Tarkovsky?
Oh, come on. Don't make me pick. They both bring something to the table.
I don't want to have to live in a world where I have to choose.
Exactly.
I like that answer. Oh, thanks, Mike Webb, for the kind donation. And Mike
Thank
says, when
you.
you guys review Gladiator, I recommend watching the extended edition. It's a more superior film in terms of storytelling. So I went back and watched the regular one.
I will watch whatever is streaming. Because as much as I am a champion of physical media, I do not and do not plan to own Gladiator. So
Mhm.
I will watch what I can get, but
I
I
think you
will
can
try to
watch the
watch the
longer
longer
one.
one.
You
If I can
can.
find the longer one available, I will watch that one.
You do that. You should do that because I did not, and that would be good to have that perspective as far
Sure.
as, like, how it's different, so you can cover that base, so cool. All right, friends, thanks for being here. Have a fantastic weekend. Let us
Yes.
know what you are seeing. Tomorrow is Saturday, so if you've not already subscribed to my newsletter, you can. It is ChristyLemire.com. You can find it. It is called Saturday Matinee. Would love to see you there. Have a great weekend, and, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye. Okay.